Hey, what's up? Otaku Mike here. Let's talk about Fire and Ice When Hell Freezes Over, issue number one. This one might be hot or might be cold. I don't know. So, this story picks up after the events of Absolute Power slash Fire and Ice Welcome to Smallville. More the latter of Absolute Power, where Fire and Ice have basically, from the fallout of Absolute Power, have switched powers. Fire has Ice's powers, and Ice has Fire's powers, and they don't know how to really deal with it. Ice very much is trying to live with the fact that she no longer has her original powers. She's trying to help out Martha Kent with this fair where Ice and Fire are being honored at this fair because they basically saved Kansas from a sentient island, which now is a new town within Kansas. It like connected itself to Kansas. Weird, I know. But on the other hand, Fire really isn't doing so well, to say the least. She wants her original powers back. She feels like definitely her powers are tied to her and her persona for the most part. And she's very much trying to find different ways to get her powers back. So what does she do? She basically invites Black Canary, Zatanna, and her other girlfriends for a night of karaoke. She convinces Ice to come along, and she convinces Ice to go up and sing some karaoke while this is going on. Fire basically uses that as a distraction to go find Zatanna's magical hats. She pulls a couple things out of it, like a dagger, a skull, a gooey eyeball, but she finds a monkey paw and she makes a wish. She wishes that Ice and Fire are back with their original powers and that she might have a nicer set of tits. Everybody ends up trying to stop her from making this wish, but alas, she makes the wish and they both, Fire and Ice, wake up the next morning to find out that they have basically Freaky Friday'd it and they have switched bodies. So there's that. And that's kind of where this issue ends. All right, so let's take a look at the internal artwork. Just gotta say, I love the covers for these, even the like alternate covers that I want to try to find eventually. Some of them are really beautiful. But here's your creative team right there, and the internal artwork is definitely something different. It's a little more cartoonish, but I feel like it definitely works for this particular series. There's a lot of color, a lot of expression in the characters' faces because they're not really doing a lot of action in this. It's more like them interacting with each other and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I really liked how they depicted Fire and Ice in this. It's good to see that they're getting some love from DC because I feel like these are two characters that definitely don't get to see like the limelight and like get their own comics and stuff. But this artwork it's a lot of fun. It definitely reminds me of, and it's weird to say, it reminds me of like newer Archie comics. I know that's weird to say, but that's what the artwork kind of reminds me of, and I'm kind of here for it. I know this isn't going to be everybody's cup of tea when it comes to artwork, but I have to say it's not really that bad. I feel like it's fun. It's different, and I feel like that's something we need in comic books. So, what are my thoughts on this? Well, Fire and Ice, when Hell Freezes Over, to be honest, a little bit of a mixed bag. I really didn't know that this was going to be so heavily tied to the original Fire and Ice Welcome to Smallville miniseries. With that, I do feel like there isn't much of a new reader like friendly going into this story because you really need to know a lot of stuff like context with that story. Now, this does give you some backstory about what happened in that story, but I gotta be honest, for a bunch of this, I was really, really confused. It was more with a lot of the side characters that were in this particular issue. There were a lot of them, and I didn't know who they were or really what they were. I only got little snippets of who they were, like Grodd's cousin and like the lady who runs the or works at the salon. I don't know if the salon is their like place of business or if they help out with it. I was really confused about that. And then there's a character who comes in to the salon where he is the brother of the one of the villains from the original Welcome to Smallville series. Now, things that I liked about this were fire and ice in general. They were a lot of fun, and seeing their dynamic friend wise and like how they dealt with things moving forward in a sense. That's one thing I really truly did. Like you could really feel like the camaraderie between them, and like it was fun seeing them like also bicker and stuff here and there, trying to figure out how to control each other's powers. That was probably one of the fun parts of this particular issue. I definitely feel like I'm going to have to go back and reread that previous series, but this wasn't a bad first issue. It was just not very new reader friendly, in my opinion. I liked a lot of the jokes. I liked the concept. I liked where they're going forward in this, where we are getting that Freaky Friday scenario with superpowers. Like we're going full blown Freaky Friday, basically. And I want to see how they get out of that predicament moving forward. But to say the least, this was a fine first issue. It wasn't wonderful. It wasn't amazing. It was fun. It was a fun first issue. It didn't blow me out of the water, but I am looking forward to seeing where this goes. I feel like the comedy beats landed pretty well, and it's definitely a different take on the superhero genre because they weren't really doing a lot of superhero stuff in this particular issue. But let me know your thoughts down below. Are you picking it up? You're not picking it up? Have you read the previous issues for the first miniseries? Let me know. Give me your thoughts. I'm Otaku Mike, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Peace out.